Was it a wrench when the ship went down?
Yeah. Yes, well, yeah, it was,
Ardent was the first escort to be sunk on the day of the landing itself. Her NAFI manager was in charge of one of her machine guns.
During the whole day, it just seemed one mass air attack. There was one point during the day where there was a brief lull, but it just seemed, for a few minutes, it just seemed that continuously from first light until the beginning of dusk that the ship was under attack.
Did you have time to think about what you were doing?
Not really, only at one stage where I'd run out of ammunition and there was an aircraft, a Skyhawk, just coming in low at the ship, and the only thing then to do was to hit the deck, which I did, and it was just as the bombs were leaving the wings of the aircraft and passing through the rigging on the ship. It was only then that it sort of really brought home to me what was actually happening to the ship. And then as that aircraft passed over, somebody came up with some more belts of ammunition, and then we carried on.
Was it a wrench when the ship went down?
Yeah. Yes, well, yeah, it was funny to describe the feeling afterwards when I was on board the Cambrian QE2. It was very disorientated. It was like having something, lots to do, and then being very busy, and then suddenly nothing. The only thing you could do day in, day out on the Cambrian and on the QE2 was just do some reading or lie in your bunk and think about what had happened. Yeah, it was very strange.
When we moved to Darwin and patrols at mark a start line, I was shit scared, basically. It dawned on me then, like, that it was going to happen. They weren't going to surrender as we got there, and they're going to have to start doing attacks, but that's how I felt at the time.
Could you cope with that? I mean, were you able to get up and go on?
We had to, just follow the bloke in front and watch your back. Just keep on going.
The task force had a month to prepare itself before the first ships reached the South Atlantic battle zone. Then on May the 1st, HMS Glamorgan was bombed while bombarding the Falklands coast.
On the way down, a lot of the lads personally felt that nothing was going to come of it, that the government would sort out a peace treaty, and we'd all sail back again and nothing would happen, And when the initial bombs started, when the aircraft started coming over, it was an initial shock, really.
Glamorgan's captain, despite his 36 years in the Navy, discovered fear, and through it, a bond with his crew.
I think it was a fear of being attacked rather than the actual attack, which gripped most people. Once the attacks were on, or we were doing something to the enemy, then you forget fear. It's the waiting for fear, and it was the waiting particularly for people deep down in the ship with doing their job, perhaps felt fear more than any other.
It wasn't just the Navy that lost ships. Atlantic Conveyor, a merchant vessel, waiting to move into Bomb Alley to unload, was struck by an Exocet and caught fire. The decision to abandon ship was taken by her two senior officers, Captain Ian North, the master who later drowned, and the senior naval officer on board.
It's a devastating decision to make, to abandon your ship. It must have crucified poor Ian North. It was a dreadful decision to have to make. But there became a time, quite clearly, that we should not stay.
And what happened to you when you got down and into the water? Was it a time of great physical struggle?
It was very hard work indeed, just simply to try and get to a life raft and get on board and prevent being sucked back towards the ship, which was very hard work, and I think John Brocklehurst had the same problem. It was only frightening, I found, in retrospect, funny enough. I thought to myself, during it, I was really quite cool, I felt. I was underwater on one occasion for about 10 seconds. And you think, my goodness, is this really the end? But no panic, extraordinarily. No panic. And it wasn't until afterwards, and I thought about it, and I was warm and I'd had a cup of tea inside me, that it really came home to me how frightening it was.
We had 25, 26 in our raft, which is the full capacity, and it's quite crowded. And you're busy just keeping your next door neighbour awake if he's fallen asleep, that sort of thing.
You said there were people falling asleep?
Yeah, tiredness, fatigue is a great thing. Once you go over the side of a ship and you're in the water and then you're dragged in, it's surprising how tired you get. You have to force yourself to keep going.
That I could cough out my emotions in a healthy manner and just become the right person that actually matters. And every day I drive my car to my little job, find some peace in the stations that I throw on. But I wish there was a song with your name as the